Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is going to be the second video of my channel, and this time I'm going to go over a slightly different topic from last time. Last time I spoke about the serial killer Ricky Lee Green, but this time I'm going to talk about a different topic entirely. I do not know how many of you might have heard of P.T. Barnum, but in historical times, T.P. Barnum was a person who conducted a freak show, and this time in this video we are going to talk about the different kinds of people he used in his freak show as human attractions. So let's go. Phineas Taylor Barnum was an American showman, politician, and businessman remembered for promoting celebrated hoaxes and for founding the Barnum and Bailey Circus. He was also an author, publisher, and philanthropist, though he said of himself, "I am a showman by profession, and all the gilding shall make nothing else of me." According to his critics, his personal aim was to put money in his own coffers. He is widely credited with coining the adage, "There's a sucker born every minute," although there's no proof of him found to be saying this. P.T. Barnum started promoting the human novelties he called freaks in his traveling show in 1835, and he opened his larger freak show at the American Museum in Manhattan in 1841. After a fire in 1868, Barnum founded P.T. Barnum's Grand Traveling Museum, Menagerie, Caravan and Circus. In 1881, the circus came under the joint management and ownership of Barnum, James Bailey and James Hutchinson, and in 1887, Barnum and Bailey's Greatest Show on Earth was formed. From Rudolph Lucchese to General Tom Thumb to Siamese twins Chang and N. Bunker, Barnum presented intriguing individuals with unique bodies and minds as wild and exotic marvels. Many of the sideshow performers became quite famous and wealthy. Others got by eking out a living while trying to find a home. Barnum's exploitation of his so-called freaks is not without criticism, and his contribution to the imperial culture of the 19th and early 20th centuries is clear. But the lives of the freaks themselves make for some fascinating tales in themselves. Number 10. Madame Clofulia, the Bearded Lady. Josephine Bois-de-Chesnay was born in Switzerland in 1831 and signed with P.T. Barnum in 1853. Josephine displayed excessive hair growth from a young age with a beard by the age of 2 and 2-inch facial hair by age 8. Josephine's parents showcased their daughter when she was 16, in large part because her 6-inch long beard was already gathering attention wherever she went. Josephine met an artist named Fortuna Clofulia in 1851, fell in love, and the two married. They had 2 children, but one died as an infant. Shortly after Josephine, now Madame Clofulia, made her way to New York to work at Barnum's American Museum. She was called the Bearded Lady and given claims that she was actually a man, played up her femininity as much as possible with jewelry and elaborate dresses. Her surviving child, a son named Albert, was put on display by Barnum as well. Number 9. Rudolph Lucchese and his albino family. The Lucchese family was displayed by Barnum in 1860 as white Negroes. Rudolph Lucchese and his wife Antiana were purported to have been born of perfectly black parents. Really, the family had albinism, which accounted for their paleness. They had a son as well, and collectively were one of numerous fair-skinned and light-haired acts presented by Barnum. Number 8. Fyodor Jeftashev, the Dog Boy. Suffering from hypertrichosis, Fyodor Yevtushevich was known as Jojo the Dogfaced Boy to his fans. Hypertrichosis causes excessive hair growth on the body, rendering a person animal-like in appearance. Fyodor was born in Russia in 1868 and prior to joining Barnum's show, toured with his parents, who also had excessive hairiness. He made his way to the US with Barnum in 1884 and was pitted against his father as a wild savage. Fyodor barked, growled, and acted like an angry dog. He was one of Barnum's most popular performers, and when a group of performers complained that they disliked being called freaks in 1898, he was at the forefront of the protesters. Number 7. Isaac Sprague, the Living Skeleton. One of many living skeletons, Isaac Sprague was a normal child until the age of 12, when he started losing large amounts of weight without explanation. He was emaciated and had a hard time finding work until the age of 24, when he visited a sideshow passing through his native Massachusetts town. In 1865, Sprague went to P.T. Barnum directly and negotiated a job. When the American Museum burned down in 1868, Sprague took a brief break from the freak show, got married, and had 3 kids, none of which showed signs of his condition. He later toured with the circus and progressively became weaker and weaker. He died in 1887. At 5 feet 6 inches tall, his lowest weight on record was 43 pounds. Barnum continued to employ living skeletons in his show, sometimes with added features. Alexander Montague, for example, played the violin. Number 6. Chang and Eng Bunker, the Siamese twins. These Siamese twins are the basis for the colloquial term applied to conjoined twins today. Chang and Eng Bunker were from a family of multiples, but were the only 2 siblings that were born conjoined. Born in 1811 in Thailand, they entered show business in 1829 when they were purchased by an American colonel. They took control of their own career during the early 1830s and retired in 1838. They worked with Barnum on occasion during the 1850s and 1860s to tour. After the Civil War, they once again worked with Barnum because they needed the money. After they left show business, they moved to North Carolina and became US citizens, changing their name to Bunker. They married a set of sisters, Sarah and Adelaide Yates. Between the 2 of them, they fathered 22 children. Chang and Eng died in 1874. An autopsy revealed that they could not have been separated in a way that would have allowed for the both of them to survive. Number 5. Stephen B Broski, the Lion-Faced Man. With the exception of the palms of his hands and the soles of his feet, every part of Stephen B Broski's body was covered with long hair. This gave him the appearance of a lion, which is how he got his performer name, Lionel, the Lion-Faced Man. B Broski was born in Poland in 1890 and had hypertrichosis. His mother turned him over to a German showman when he was just 4 years old, and he went to the US in 1901. He joined Barnum's show and turned himself into a walking contrast by learning several languages and wearing nice clothing while looking like a dangerous beast. Number 4. George Constantinus, the Tattooed Prince. George Constantinus earned his fame as a tattooed man in American sideshows. A Greek Albanian born in 1836, George had 388 Burmese tattoos over his entire body, including crevices and genitals. The only parts of his body not inked were his nose, ears, and the bottoms of his feet. His tattoos featured colorful symmetric patterns, flowers, and plants, and even animals like elephants. He was billed as Captain George Constantinus, the tattooed Greek prince, and was a major attraction by 1876. He claimed that he was tattooed against his will by savage women. Number 3. Prince Rangi, the human torso. Born with no limbs in British Guiana in 1871, Rangian became Prince Rangian, the human torso, in 1889 when Barnum brought him to the US. He was dressed in modest clothes and performed for more than 4 decades. During his career, he went by many names including the living torso, the human caterpillar, and the human worm, the latter two because of how he wiggled and moved. He performed tricks like lighting a cigarette, painting, and shaving in his act. He fathered 5 children with his wife and died in 1934. Number 2. Myrtle Corbett, the four-legged woman. A native of Tennessee, Myrtle Corbett was billed by Barnum as a four-legged woman. She was born in 1868 as a dipygus, a person born with 2 of everything from the navel down, including 2 pelvises and 4 legs. She was put on display as an infant by her father, who toured her around the country. Her father negotiated a contract with Barnum and Bailey when she was just 13 or 14 years old. Corbett was paid $2.50 a week until she left the circus in 1886. She was incredibly popular, and her reproductive and sexual abnormalities were of popular interest. Corbett went on to marry and have children, after which she returned to a life in the circus in 1909. Of note, she wasn't asked to display her lady parts, but marketing material made it a point to ponder her sexual and reproductive possibilities. Number 1. General Tom Thumb. P.T. Barnum found Charles Sherwood Stratton in Connecticut when the boy was only 5 years old. Thumb was under 2 feet tall, and Barnum told audiences that he was the 11-year-old General Tom Thumb. Thumb toured immediately as part of Barnum's freak show, winning over audiences and fans such as Queen Victoria on an European tour in 1844. He made Barnum and himself very wealthy. In 1863, Stratton married fellow little person Lavinia Warren, who worked for Barnum the previous year. Their wedding was a huge event in Manhattan with guests who supposedly paid Barnum for the honor of attending. Barnum toured the small couple together with a baby, even though the couple never had any children of their own. They joined Barnum's circus later as well, and when General Tom Thumb died in 1883, thousands attended his funeral. After the death of P.T. Barnum in 1891, the circus was acquired by the Ringling Brothers in 1907, which led to the formation of the Ringling Rose and Barnum and Bingley Circus in 1990. Throughout all of these changes, one thing remained constant: the presentation of human attractions or freaks. Up to a point, it becomes a very novel thing to witness someone who has abilities that are different from your own. But over time, even this becomes boring. According to a source, freak shows were banned in 1980. The thought at the time was that freak shows were exploitive, and any show or any traveling show that had freaks on display was setting the freaks up for ridicule. Another very common opinion was that freak shows waned out of favor over time and no longer yielded an economic advantage that equaled the cost of putting these shows on. The audiences over the years had been through 2 world wars, economic instability, a depression, and had had enough sorrow and misfortune. Will truth be told? In the end, freak shows were just another sad event that helped other people to laugh at the sadness of the ones in front of them.
Hello everyone, my name is Ria. If you liked what you just saw, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it so that you know when I post a video next. Please like the video and leave your comments below. So until next time, friends.